Today I'd like to present my humble attempt at making my twist on Anman, or steamed buns with red bean paste inside. The steamed bun, which figures in various Asian cuisines, is a popular traditional snack in Japan, where I happen to come from. It even figures in films such as Ghibli's Spirited Away. As they're also vegan, I thought it would be fun to try and recreate them, as I live in Europe and can't go out to buy them at the moment. This recipe makes about 5 to 6 anman, so without any further dilly-dally, let's make these buns. The first thing you're going to have to do is procure some yeast. You can, of course, use active dry yeast, in which case double the amount you use. Here I'm using fresh yeast and activating it with some warm water and sugar. While we wait for the yeast to activate for about 15 minutes, measure out 100 grams of all-purpose flour and 50 grams of bread flour. Here I'm using wholemeal bread flour because that's what I had in my cupboard, but using white bread flour would make the buns completely white and authentically adhere to the conventional standards of an anman. Just checking on the yeast. When it's activated, it should be bubbly. Go ahead and add some baking powder and a pinch of salt to your flour mixture. So I'm going to be a bit controversial here by substituting white sugar, which I also didn't have enough of. I was afraid of using brown sugar or maple syrup because I felt it would brown the buns more than already propagated by the wholemeal flour, so I used agave syrup instead, which I'd like to emphasize is definitely not a traditional Asian sweetener. I eyeballed the amount, as you can see. Maybe that's a bit too much agave syrup. Oops. After 15 minutes, go ahead and add your activated yeast. Go ahead and combine all of your ingredients together, gradually adding 80 milliliters of warm water. Your dough may seem a bit crumbly at first, but not unlike pizza or bread dough. It just needs some loaf. And here's the moment I realized I should probably use my hands. Once you've got a relatively smooth dough ball, leave it to rise in a covered bowl for about 40 minutes. In the meantime, we're going to be doing some origami and making our steaming sheets. If you conveniently have small circles of steaming paper, that's great. Go ahead and skip this step. But if you're like me and only have baking paper, fold a square into a triangle 3 times and cut a rounded side so that you have a circle sector. Attempt to unfold it. And voila! You've got a steamer sheet in the shape of a flower besides. Make about 5 or 6 of these to make sure you've got one for every bun. Go ahead and fill the remaining time with whatever activity that strikes your fancy.
My shame against me, and I'll speak! Be wise and get you home.
It's time to check on the dough. It should have become slightly larger. Separate the dough into smaller balls. Flatten your dough balls into flat discs on a floured surface until you get something resembling kind of a pizza dough, and you can stretch it and it's a little bit translucent at the edges. Here's when the exciting ingredient comes in: red Azuki bean paste. Here I have some Koshian, or smooth Azuki paste, that I made from scratch a couple of days ago. You can get them at Asian supermarkets or even online. If you live in the UK or EU, they sell them on Amazon, as well as a website called Japan Center. They sell both smooth Azuki paste, Koshian, and a more textured version, tsubuan. But as you can see, they tend to be a bit pricey when bought out of Asia. To make it at home, you just need some Azuki beans, which you can generally find for cheaper. Take a ball of Azuki paste and put in the center of your dough circle and scrunch up the top to close it. You can also make this scrunched up at the bottom, which makes the top a bit more round and perhaps more aesthetically pleasing. Don't worry if they seem a bit small, they will expand in the steamer. You can sprinkle some black sesame seeds at this point if you wish. Steam your buns for about 15 minutes on medium-high, then for 5 minutes on low. Here I'm using a Japanese gauze towel between the steamer and the top to soak up moisture and ensure the buns don't come out soggy, but you can use any clean cloth you have. When done, they should be fluffy and decadent. Let them cool for a few minutes and dig in. Oh my! Well, that wasn't what I expected, but... As you can see, the one I cut up was a bit more bread than red bean paste, but the others were a bit more proportionate, and we're gonna love them all anyway. Although mine had a bit more of a wholemeal bread taste than the ones I always had in Japan when I was little, they turned out pretty good, if I may say so myself, and I enjoyed eating them as much as I did making them. I hope you enjoyed the video, and let me know if you decide to make these steamed buns. Bye!